Well, that's very, very true. We are in an ecosystem that is constantly evolving, and things are changing, that is increasing and intensifying competition, whether it's, just more players in the ecosystem, reducing margins, complex regulations. And when we think about unlocking, let's say, the next level of profitability from a payments perspective, we really break it down into three things, right? How do we unlock new markets, new segments, new verticals, and just sort of bring in more transactions into the payment ecosystem or digital payment ecosystem? How do we then make sure that every single one of those transactions, of course, that are legitimate, are going through the network successfully, and then how do we increase and enhance the efficiency of every transaction and of the operating model of payment service providers? So I think that's really, in a nutshell, the three areas or the three pillars within which all the innovation needs to happen in order to make and continue to make payments a profitable business and enhance and unlock the next level of growth for payment ecosystem players.
That's an excellent question. So you absolutely said it accurately, which is pace of change of innovation will just keep going faster and faster because technology is democratized now and computing power is democratized. So everything around us is changing. And as a consequence, what we're doing is we invest so our customers don't have to. Our customers focus on their core business, which is either lending or providing payment instruments to their consumers, or providing payment solutions to merchants. What we do at Mastercard, including in my group, the Enterprise Gateway team, is we invest in scalable assets that, as Prakriti mentioned, help you grow more transactions, expanding into new markets, advancing the trust and security agenda, which is really, really important to people continuing to use electronic forms of payments. And then finally, enhancing the profitability of the overall ecosystem. And what we're doing is making sure that we harness our singular advantage of being a big global payments player, which effectively means we see more data, more transactions than anyone else does. We're able to offer insights to our customers. We are able to invest on that global scale, so the unit cost of innovation for our customers is a lot lower. So we continue to partner and bring that ecosystem of not just our own technology assets, but as Prakriti mentioned, all of the partners and capabilities that they bring, all through a single unified experience for our customers.
Look, I am as much a consumer of payments as a professional in the payments industry. So I personally feel very, very passionate about anything that can enhance experience and that can make life simpler for consumers. And so the 2-3 things that I'm super, super excited about is what we're going to do with tokenization and really enabling consumers to store and use their payment credentials in a safe and secure manner for every single online transaction. So every transaction that consumers make in e-commerce really become one-click, seamless, super easy to do. The second that I'm really looking forward to is bringing biometrics to every payment transaction. Today, we all enjoy, the pleasure of digital wallet payments, where we just, we look at the phone and the payment just happens. And we really want to make that happen on every single type of transaction that consumers do. So I think that's the second one. And the third, for me, I think, is really, enhancing consumer choice, right? So of course, we know that in our markets and in EEMEA region, there is a huge rise of all types of payment methods, alternative payment methods, of course, cards, which are very close to our hearts, but others as well. And so unlocking as many options, as many choices for consumers from a payment processing standpoint is something that I think is going to be very, very critical to simplify, as we say, the payments journey for both merchants and consumers.
That's been a topic for us for the last few years. So there are many facets to our investments and focus on helping our customers deal with localization. And for us, localization means many things. Firstly, from a pure commercial upside standpoint, our customers, particularly on the acquiring side, want to be able to offer payments functionality to merchants in multiple markets. There's no point in them investing market by market and connecting with these local payment methods that Prax just talked about. We do that so they don't have to the point I made earlier. So this seamless expansion across geographies, leveraging local payment types, plus the relevant connections that we have with fiduciaries in those countries, really, really critical for them to be able to expand seamlessly. The second facet of localization is technology. So in some markets, there's an increasing need from a regulatory standpoint for big systemic payment players like ourselves to be in market. It's not necessarily something that we always agree with, but in some cases there's good reasons. And what we're doing is we're making the necessary investments for our tech stack to be in market. And one really good example that's relevant for the Middle East, Africa region, we are the only gateway provider that is local in Saudi Arabia. We have a deep relationship with the Saudi payments and Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority groups that we are offering MADA acceptance through the gateway with that deep relationship in a locally relevant manner. Effectively meaning that anyone who wants to operate in, an e-commerce or omni-channel acceptance in Saudi and going in there for the first time doesn't need to do any extra work except for plugging into us. So there's kind of two primary examples of how we're advancing the localization agenda from our standpoint.
Look, I think that, I personally really like to think about everything that is happening in driving secular shift from cash to digital as an opportunity for the whole payment ecosystem, really. And I think that when it comes to alternative payment methods, ultimately, and as I said earlier, it all boils down to giving consumers choices and respecting all the payment choices that they would want to have, depending on the instrument that they are carrying to make that transaction or to make that payment. So I absolutely think it's an opportunity. I think that what we can do in this area is really simplifying the way that these new payment methods are brought to life, but also to apply some of the very well tried and tested technologies that we have applied on card payments for a very long time. And example being fraud solutions and enabling value-added services on top of these transactions. So I think that there is really an opportunity from a value-added services standpoint as well as simplification of enablement standpoint when it comes to alternative payment methods.
Another area where we have invested in localization and are ahead of the curve on behalf of our customers is our switch in South Africa. So we've put our fully modernized, upgraded network switch in South Africa, and the only company to do that. So our customers are now enjoying all of the global Mastercard switching functionality, including upgrades like real-time clearing, all delivered in a locally relevant manner in South Africa.
Simplification. I think that the potential of just making consumer experience really simple by leveraging AI to identify, are you who you say you are? Is this transaction really being done for the purpose that it seems to be done? And what can I do to automatically and make really payments invisible for consumers? So how, nobody wakes up in the morning and thinks about, wow, how am I going to pay, right? People wake up and think about, what's my experience going to be like? What is my day going to be like? And I think the potential to use AI to simplify that payment journey and to just make it extremely intuitive from a customer standpoint is where I think that the opportunity lies in the application of AI in payments.
For me, the soundbite would be risk versus reward. And by that I mean that we as a company are able to leverage the kind of generational leap in artificial intelligence and large language models to convert the insights that we already had with our global data pool and make that into relevant actions for our customers. And as a result, everything that Prax just said, which is make the payment experience as frictionless as possible whilst maintaining a high degree of trust. That balance has always been tricky. I think with the advances in artificial intelligence, we have an opportunity to make that completely seamless for our customers. but making sure that we stay one step ahead of the people who are trying to get into the system and take profit away from our customers. And that's where I see the biggest advantage for us.